Hello, me again. This time it's an unboxing. It's the Fractal Pop Silent computer case. There it is. Very interesting for reasons that will become apparent. Obviously read the description for more information on that. Hopefully that's what led you to this video. I'm going to unbox it, and then at the end of the video I'll put in a little bit of about, you know, because this is going to be used for a build. We'll talk about that once I've actually assembled it. But the first thing to do, obviously, is get the case open. So I'm going to slide the knife along there, like that. I've just had it sharpened. I don't know what sort of job I've made of it, because it still seems to be a little bit blunt. So we'll just cut these seals and get in there. Be a bit careful running a knife along the top. Let's close that up, because I know what I'm like. Put that like that, put that like that, like that. Now I've got to get it out. Now, what you should do is, first of all, make sure that the little handly things are out. That one's out. And we'll go around this way, and we'll lift those out as well, so that when you lift it off, it doesn't get snagged. So that's important. So let's flip it over. I don't know if I'll be able to lift it off with the desk in this position, but we'll try. There'll be a way, I should think. And then we'll just try and get the box off. And it works. So that's good. So I'm going to try and get this around here without knocking the camera. And then just chuck it on the floor down there. Right, there it is, which is the top, which is the bottom. That's the bottom. So I'll lean it over. Take that off. That's the magnetic door, I think. And I'll just lift that up. And I'll try and get the button off. Bit fiddly, but we're getting there. User guide. Well, okay. Need to get this bag off and snag it from the feet, like that. And here it is. Right. First thing you notice is nice flat front. Little thing here that's interesting. That's got, it's a bit, I mean, it's plastic. It's got a little pulley tag on it. It's got a magnet, but it's quite easy to knock that off. If you catch that with your foot, it'll fall off, but it doesn't matter because it's there. And that's a little cover, and then oh, Fractal. Oh, what are you doing? That's beautiful. It's a little tiny drawer. So you can, yeah. So inside, I'm giggling. Brilliant. It's good. I'm so pleased that someone's actually decided to do something interesting with computer cases, because I love that. That's brilliant. I'm still going to just pull it out. And that is a 5¼ inch drive bay, which is a little bit interesting, as we'll see when it comes to the build. So let's open up the side and have a look what you get inside it. Those are captive screws. I like a captive screw. And on the inside of the panel, because this is the silent version, it's actually got a little bit of sort of foamy stuff. I'll pop that down there and try not to kick it, but I can't promise anything. And that's inside there. There's a screw there. That must be a mounting thing, maybe for a GPU support. It's got 1, 2, 3 fans pre-installed. Does that front bit there come off? Doesn't look like it. There's a bit of tape on there to protect that there. And spin it round. Open up the other side. These are finger tight, which is quite good as well. because I haven't reached for any tools yet apart from the knife to get into it. There is a lip on the bottom of that, So there is a, I don't think these panels are the same. They're not. They've got a left and this is actually much heavier. This one's much heavier than the other panel. So they've got a back panel and they've got a front panel. Normally you can tell because one's made of perspex or glass, but not so. Yeah, and again we've got a little bit of tape there, just protective tape. That's mesh there. So there is a mesh side panel, because obviously this is completely blocked off, so it's going to pull air in, and it can pull air in from there, only there. It doesn't want on this side, it's only on that side. So that should be interesting for airflow. And there's a bag of bits here. That's a, wow, that's a cable tie and a half. That's a massive cable tie, that is. So yeah, great for that one. And there's more of them here. Another one there, another one there. They've done cable management already up to a point, haven't they, look? So that's all right. So let's have a look at what we've got here. There's a fan connector, and there's another fan connector there. So they're just hanging loose. They're three. They're not PWM fans. They're only 3 conductors, so they're just your standard fans. So whether we'll need them, we might leave those disconnected depending on the noise. But yeah, there's a USB 3 header, because there's 2 USB 3 ports at the top, and then you've got the audio and the power and reset. Does it have a reset switch? Let's just double check that. No, you've got a power switch and a power LED, so you haven't got a reset switch, you've just got one power switch. Also interesting on the top, which I will point out, is that there is a USB-C thing, and it's labelled as Type C. I don't know how well you can see that. It's labelled as Type C, but it's not there. I think you can get like a accessory pack that's got no, just include that with it and add a £5 or a £10. Just make the case slightly more expensive to accommodate that. Don't make it an optional extra. There's no reason for that. People are going to buy it, I think, for that, for the 5.25-inch bay. That's why they're going to buy it. So don't add insult to injury by. So that's the first angry thing I'm going to say about this. Everything's been positive so far, but that's annoying. Not including the USB-C, making it an optional extra, is BS, frankly. Anyway, here's a bag of bits. There's some grommets, lots of little grommets. So what are they for? Well, I guess they're for fans, because they wouldn't be for anything else. So you've got a whole bundle of little grommets. There they are, look. I don't know whether you can see them, but rubber rings. They chuck in 4 cable ties. That's another thing. Don't bother with the cable ties. Anyone who's going to go cable tie frenzy is going to have their own cable ties for a start, and 4 isn't going to be enough anyway, so just don't bother. I guess it makes the list of included things one item longer, but just don't bother. Just, put the USB thing in instead. There's screws there. They're the bigger thread screws, so they could be motherboard screws or they could be for the back panel, except the back panel there has got all the, they're all in place already, and these are actual panels. These are actual little strips. They're not metal that you bend and snap off, so that's good. There's the bigger screws for the power supply, although again most power supplies come with screws anyway, so okay. Those are they've got those are hard drive mounting screws. So these grommets are going to be for the hard drives, because they've got the no vibration screws on them. So you've got a screw that's part threaded, so you push this on and then that gives you the little bit of rubber cushioning. And then there's a general 2.5-inch SSD / motherboard one. That kind of suggests that they've already mounted the motherboard risers, because there's nothing about motherboard risers in there, and they are on, and I'm trying to undo them, and so your motherboard risers are already screwed in, which is great. It's also got one there. I'll just unclip the camera and show it to you. You've also got that kind of riser there, which is not, it just sticks up and pokes through the hole, so that helps you align things up. That's quite a nice touch. So while I'm here, I'll show you that as well. See, all the things are in there, and they're actual plates, they're not bits that you snap off, so that's a good touch. That's a close-up of the annoying USB-C port that isn't there. Ah! That's going to annoy me now. It's going to bug me, that is. Because it is ridiculous how they thought of everything else, and they've done everything else brilliantly, and this drawer, I'm loving that drawer. I don't know why. I think every PC should have a drawer. That's what I think now. Anyway, let's go around the back and see what else we've got. There is a 2.5-inch SSD mount there, which I'm unscrewing, and that just pops off. So that's you can put 2 drives on there. There's a caddy in the bottom here, which I'm going to just try and unscrew. I don't know how you get it out. There you go, it's got one little screw on it there. So there's a drive caddy that holds a 3.5-inch drive, but obviously that needs to come out in order to put the 5.25 1-inch one. I've actually noticed something sneaky. There's another one up here, so you can probably see on the camera where my hand is. Ta-da! So you've got 2 drive bays there, another 2 drive bays there, so you can put 2 SSDs there. That has also got the holes for SSD mounting too. I don't know how well you can see it, but you've got the holes, so you can actually put in 1, 2, 3, 4 2.5-inch SSDs, or 2 2.5-inch SSDs and 2 3.5-inch hard drives. Or you can put, and you've got room to put in 2 5.25-inch drives, should your heart desire that. And I guess you could put in 1 drive higher up and then put the tray back in lower down. You could do that. So, yeah. Oh, see, Fractal. Fractal. I'm not sponsored by Fractal. If they want to sponsor me, then yeah, please. Because every computer needs a drawer. That's it. Every computer needs a little tiny drawer to put things in. Even if it's just the bits that came with it, you could put, I'm really, I will shut up about the drawer now. So, yes, so if you're looking for a case, obviously the main reason for getting this case is because the customer has got a DVD drive already, and they want to keep using it. They don't know when they're going to use it, and they can't remember the last time they used it, but they think they might use it in the future. So I'm like, okay, we can do that. So that sort of slides in beautifully like that, and then you oh, hello old friend. So when you thought you couldn't get a decent, because if you look around for cases with 5.25-inch bays, they're all actually horrible, aren't they? Because they're your traditional beige box with the drives there, and then the floppy drives there, and the buttons on that side, aren't they? Or the other way around, depending on how you've got it. So they're all the same as legacy sort of 20-year-old cases that this is an attempt to give the stylish, I haven't got space for a drive, I haven't got drive bays that make the front look horrible, whilst actually accommodating drives. So awesome. So if you need a case because you've got a drive, buy this one. If you need a case anyway because you want a drawer in your PC, then buy this one as well. And then if you want to hide your shame, hide your enthusiasm for optical drives and your shame that you've got a little drawer on your computer, get this one as well, because it's got a little door in it. So yes. So we'll do a close-up of that. So there's the actual space. So if I get a 5¼ inch drive, that just slots in there, and there's going to be mounting screws inside somewhere, I guess, to hold it in. And then I'll get my little drawer, and I'll put my little drawer in as well. And there's my little drawer. And in order to hide my shame of having an optical drive and a little tiny drawer in my computer, I can put a cover on it like that. Brilliant. Thank you, Fractal. You've made my day. Let's look at the manual bit that comes with it, because there's a little manual. That's this here. The POP user guide. Oh, it's called POP. There's a red thing here. Attention, in the event of having received a faulty product, please contact your reseller. Yeah, so they felt the need to put that in. I don't know why. I've never experienced any problems with Fractal. The user guide. Now, these user guides tend to be all right. So we've got specifications, we've got a picture of it, we've got suggested build layouts for air-cooled tower build, and you've got there's a blowout of the case there, so you can see everything fits together. There is that's just reminded me, there is a dust filter on the bottom, and that's how you mount the drives in there. So you can, oh, hang on a minute, that's interesting. If I just spin that round like that, they reckon you can put one of these drives. So if you put the 5¼ inch drive in, that suggests that you might lose a 3¼ inch, but you can actually, you can put that there, and then that one there can go back in there, and you don't lose it. Oh, it's almost like they thought about it. Brilliant. But they've detailed it in here, and you've got, you know, the sort of suggested layouts. And there's a build guide. Okay, and there's a accessory bag contents, drive screws, hard drive dampers. Yeah, so they are hard drive dampers. So the manuals are actually really good. The manuals are really nice. If you've got RGB fans, so they do put in the same manual for the different versions of this case, because you can get it with RGB, I think, and like a mesh panel at the front and things. Remove the front panel, install optical drive. It's got a little caddy thing. So yeah, Fractal manuals are really good, and they include it with it, so you haven't got to download it and try and flick your phone or horror, print it out. Don't print it out. It'll be quite big. So yeah. So I'm going to use this in a build, and then that'll be tagged on to the end of this video. If you're only here for the unboxing, then that's what you get. That's what happens. If you have any questions, stick them in the comments. I try and reply to all the questions. I'll have this computer for a little while I build it. So if you're quick and you've got anything specific, I can test it out for you. Yeah, I hope you liked it. I just want to show you the little tiny drawer again, because I'm delighted about that. And yeah, liking and subscribing is appreciated, and thanks for watching. Before the main bit about the build, here's a quick add-on. If you want to mount a 5¼ inch drive, you do have to pop the front off. There's the front. You have to pop it off, because there's some screw, because you can't get at the screws inside here very easily. So you undo those two screws there and those two screws there, and then this little cage comes out, and you screw the drive into that cage. So hope you find that useful. The actual front cover isn't screwed in. It's got these little squeezy arms. So you pop the top one, squeeze, and then it just comes off. Anyway, there's a better view of the fans actually. These aren't the RGB ones, they're just the standard ones. They might be disconnected depending on what the thermals are like, or they might not. We'll see. Anyway, so stay tuned for the actual main build, and thanks for watching this bit. Okay, here's another little bit that you're going to find interesting. I think when I was unboxing it, I mentioned that the front little panel bit comes off pretty easily, and it sounded like I was criticising it. But this is actually why that is. It's what you've got is a situation where people that design this are obviously pretty sharp, and they have had several meetings and thought about things intensely, because obviously if you do put a drive in, because there's one there that was salvaged from the old machine, if you do put the drive in, then you can software eject. So if I right click on the drive and click eject, this happens. So basically, if the magnets were stronger and held that front on, if you accidentally did a software eject, or on purpose did a software eject, it would literally break the drive, wouldn't it? So I hope that bit is useful to you. It sounded like I was criticising it when I unboxed it, but obviously I'm not. So anyway, let's get on with the next bit. So it's all built and assembled, and Windows is installed and working perfectly. The fans are connected, but you can't hear them. Even though the side panels are off, you just can't hear them. I have tweaked the fan curves a little bit. The Wraith cooler that came with the processor is a little bit noisy when it starts up, but you can't hear it at all now. The drive, the optical drive, fits in beautifully in the front with the little tiny drawer. So that actually looks quite funky, I think. And we'll put that back on and have a look around the back. So around the back you've got where the drive is, you can see how it fits in. So you could actually get two drives in, you just remove that one of those caddies. So it does actually, everything has been well thought through, and you've got quite a lot of versatility. This Corsair power supply isn't the longest power supply, but you can see there is actually quite a lot of room for the cables to go in if you want to get a bit creative with how they're bundled up. So it's quite a spacious case, even though you've got a CD-ROM drive in the bottom. If they did a black CD-ROM drive rather than that sort of grey, then it wouldn't be so noticeable. So maybe you could spray it or just leave it. I'm just going to leave it because the side panel isn't glass, is it? You can't fit a top mounted radiator. You could fit one at the back if you wanted to, but only 120 mil, whereas 140. But you're going to struggle with the larger radiators. You can put one at the front, you could do that. But in terms of actual water cooling, you're limited a little bit, because normally you'd put it on the top, wouldn't you? Because that's kind of the best place for it, I think. But you can't do that in this case. So anyway, it's actually quite easy to build as well. Everything sort of fits together nicely. The bit with the front popping off, that's kind of cool. They've obviously thought about that, and I don't want you breaking the optical drive. So yeah, it's really nice. If you haven't got any questions, I have got this computer for a little while, so you're free to ask them. I will, I reply to the questions that I get. So if you do have any questions, stick them in the comments. Liking and subscribing is appreciated. That would be very helpful, and thanks for watching.